Good day. Welcome back to Common Man's Corner. Wayne?
Brian?
And this week we're going to cover religion. Well, we're going to extend it. Last time we were here, we talked about religion. We had Jeff with us. It was very clear that, all of us being atheists of different degrees and stuff like that, there was definitely a lot of one-sidedness on the non-belief in religion. So, I did approach a few people, two in particular. One's response was simply they were too busy, and understanding he's a family man and a hard-working man, and working on degrees and things like that he was quite busy. And the second one's response was, I don't have to justify my belief to you, or anyone. You're right. Technically, you don't have to justify your belief to anybody but yourself. Unless, of course, you're trying to use those beliefs to influence society or others by having special rights and rules in religion, such as donations or churches with the tax write-offs or not paying any taxes or etc., then there has to be some justification. So, if a non-believer has to fucking pay taxes, a believer should too. And I'm not saying believers don't, I'm saying the church as a whole or their properties, etc. So anyway, since we couldn't get anybody in the time frame that we had here to come on and have a debate or a little go back and forth here between stuff, most kind of feel that it's going to be like an ambush, or you're just going to attack the belief, and in some ways,
it wouldn't be too far off.
It wouldn't be too far off, but I mean, like, I don't know how you define the attack on belief. It's in, I believe it would be more like multiple statements of proof against, and you'd have to justify your belief in something that has no proof.
Yeah, debate.
Right, so a debate, but anyway. So, with that, we couldn't get anybody on in the time frame that we had that was a believer. I would love, if you are a believer, and for that matter, on any topics, we covered some on money and politics, whatever else. If you don't really feel like logging in directly to the show and leaving the comments, which we always leave open on YouTube there and stuff like that, which, by the way, if you do happen to leave comments like that and stuff like that, we will do our best to respond back in a speedy manner. Or we may do what we do tonight, which is bring up some questions here. We'll also have our email there put up here across the screen here throughout the show a couple times, and feel free to email us questions or comments on particular topics or shows. And if you can, try to relate it to the exact show it was, especially if you're making a statement against something that I've said or in response to something that I've said or Brian said. Yeah. Just to get us in there. I mean, if you just want to come out there and tell me I'm batshit crazy, well, so be it. It ain't going to hurt my feelings any. But at least back up on why you think one of us is batshit crazy, and we'll go from there. Now, we do have a few questions, some that were emailed into us or have been sent to us throughout either the show or prior to with the Atheist talk and stuff like that we've had. And I'm also dive right into some of those there. One of the all-time favorites, right, is, and this is a very common one too, but because it's very common, I've received it myself numerous times, and I'm pretty sure Brian has too, and for that, and all non-believers. How did it all start if not from God? It all began somewhere. If it wasn't a God, how did it all start?
Yeah.
The most commonly accepted theory right now is the theory of, Big Bang and evolution. Though they're not totally conjunct, they're joined. The Big Bang. Based on what we have for the knowledge of and our understanding of everything now, that is the most likely beginning of it all, as we know it. Now, immediately, the favorite response, especially from the Christian side, because I don't really deal a lot with the other type of religions, stuff like that. Not that I wouldn't, of course. It's just that it's just not as popular in the area that I'm around.
Here, yeah.
And that is, what came before the Big Bang? Even if you come up with an answer to that, the next question is going to be, what came before that? What came before that? What came before that? So let's just go back to this here. What came before the Big Bang? I don't know. Yeah. Science doesn't know yet. No one knows yet. They have ideas. They have some hypotheses of that. Or many people have different ideas or ideas that it may or may not be or whatever else. My question for a response to that is, are you going to insert God? Okay, you insert God. My next question is, which one of the 2,000 plus gods are you going to insert into that? Because man's had a lot of them. Let's just bring it down. If we're talking to a Christian, of course, we're going to deal with the Christian base only as a particular one, right? And of course, instead of actually, well, they actually give it names like that, right? But instead of referring to said God as a name, they've gone so far as to say, no, it's simply God, as in There's nothing else. There's no other gods. Never was, never will be. It's all story.
Yeah.
If you're going to assert that it was your god that started it all, what started him?
Right.
Her, it, whatever.
I mean, it's just as feasible to say that he was always there as it was to say the Big Bang. Like,
God created us through the Big Bang, even. Some of them are even trying to get us to that now. Let's kind of blend the lines and see if we confuse things here a little bit, right? And say, God made the Big Bang to create all of us, and who's to say otherwise? And of course,
I used to say that myself a long time ago, that could be a reconciliation between the two thoughts, but...
Was that more of a just trying to justify it and how to make peace so you can just get on with life? Because believing in that was just too much to hurt your brain?
Basically, yeah.
I think so.
Trying to amalgamate the two to make it all make sense.
Something that was more likely as opposed to something that was just totally right at the lunch and try to... Let's just kind of bring it together.
Yeah.
Right? So God started it all with the Big Bang and such. Who created your God? Or what created your God? How did your God start?
He always been there. That was the answer.
God's either outside of our understanding of time and space. Okay, so God's outside of our understanding of time and space. Then I'm simply going to use that same statement back to you. What happened before the Big Bang? We don't know because it's outside of our understanding of time and space.
Mm.
So whatever was there before, this type of existence that we do understand, we don't know. Therefore, we can say nothing because it's nothing that we understand. And there you go. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there to see, right? You know, the same silly circle jerk logic can be used that you use for your God's justification can be used against it, right? Just throwing that out there, in my opinion. But where did it all start? If not from God, I know where I started from.
Yeah.
My mom and my dad had a fun time at least once, and here I am. Right? Where they started from? Well, see, they each had a mom and dad, and then we understand how this here works. Or at least anyone watching YouTube and these type of shows probably have a clear understanding how this all goes on. Anything else you really want to add to that one, Brian?
No, that's pretty much it. It's unanswerable is the real answer.
We can sit here and throw maybes and what ifs and could haves and maybe this and maybe that.
At least science progresses. Religion just falls back on the same old BS constantly. The same excuse, he's always been there, but at least science progresses anyway.
This is our answer. No matter what's shown, this is the answer. With science, it's, this is the answer. Shit, we've been proven wrong. Things have changed. We have more knowledge, more understanding. This is no longer the answer. This is the proper answer to the best of our understanding. The key point of all this here is none of it has been able to go back and prove the answer is God, and we have proof of it now. We have a deep-seated need or want for it, but there's no proof of, and here's zero. So, I think that one's pretty much answered down in there. Another question, and I guess it's a relatively common one too, right? But it came in and it says, hey you, where do you get your morals from, if not from God? Well, Brian, where do you get your morals from, if not from God?
I have to say my own internal compass and the need to do no harm, I guess. I don't really need many rules in life. Especially don't need people above me to tell me or God to tell me where my morals are. I don't believe in God, so therefore my morals are my own. And I don't hurt anybody. And if you need an authority figure to determine what your morals are, well then maybe you weren't that moral to begin with.
Well, some people come out with, if you need the threat of extreme torture and hell to keep you good, you're not good.
Right.
And you need the promise of eternal reward in order to do good things, once again, you're not that damn good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go so far as to come out and say I get my morals from the exact same place believers get their morals from. And it's not from God, it's not from a holy book, it's from your internal self. The fact that the human race is a social-based race. There is a need as a race, not on an individual basis. Some people on individual want to be complete loners, etc., etc. But as a race, right, for the betterment of the race of that, and the social interaction of it, of that, there is the need not to kill, not to steal, not to take from only and wantonly destroy everything, because as a race, and as a society base, we won't continue, and therefore it's not in my best interest, or your best interest, or his best interest, or a believer's best interest to do these things. And it's not so much just that, it's what you're taught as well. I mean, so where do you get a lot of your morals from? A bunch of them come from your parents. Or older members of society, or other members of society that you seem to have learned the benefits of living that way, as opposed to, rape, pillage, murder, death, kill, arson, wanton destruction, chaos, and mayhem. which usually leads to very short life expectancies and very horrible existences as a whole.
Even those people that do those things would probably prefer the alternative to not. If they had chances, like
even the ones who do those things, the mass serial killers or rapists or murderers or molesters and arsons, whatever else, they still realize that if all society did this, their existence would be rather short-lived and or made much more hazardous. Like, they're not going to live a happy, long, successful life. They act upon these desires within a society that doesn't, because most likely the bulk of us wouldn't even have made it to the maturity or the age of maturity if our whole society lived this way all the time. And it was just that way 100%. So where do I get my morals from? The same place you do, but it's not from a God in a book. Now, on that note, we could move on to another question, but I'm not letting this one drop yet. Just because. If you actually try, and I want to hit the Christians with this one, Christianity side here big time. If you actually try to justify a moral code coming from the Holy Bible, you really got to take a little look into society and look into your own mirror and look into your own soul and question just what the hell you're thinking. Just for the record, I got to throw that out there. Okay? Because in your holy book, slavery is not only allowed, it explains from your God how to do it. Incest, which we know is overall not good, is allowed and happens more than once. We commonly refer to things now as schizophrenia. A lot of times they refer to it as a test of God back then. And I'm pretty sure the boy that, his father was getting ready to hack him down with AIDS and stuff like that, he's just happy that dad came out of the schizophrenic attack here before, the knife plunged. Anyway, with all this in mind, sacking cities, killing everyone except for the virgin girls. Not even the virgin boys, not even the young men that could be raised and taught your own personal ways. Nope. Put them to the blade, boys. Hang them out and kill them up. But save the virgin girls. I'm not seeing how any train of thought could ever be good on this one here or moral.
Yeah.
Just for the record, you can try to justify it any way you want to. But taking them as your own personal war prizes is slavery and human owning. Which is also allowed. It actually tells you how you can sell them. You want to sell your daughter, how much you can get for, or how much you should. When you have to take them back, where you can buy slaves from other lands or other cultures, not just your own, stuff like that. Which ones you have to keep for 7 years, then release them. Unless you give them a woman or a wife and a child, and they don't want to leave the wife and child, then you get to keep them forever as long as you punch the ear with a awl in the center of town, et cetera, et cetera. The whole routine. So slavery is allowed. Rape and pillage is allowed. And yes, in other shows I've used it, stuff like that. But it all comes back to the same idea. It is morally wrong, yet here it is in your holy book.
Most people don't even need to be told. They don't need that book to know what's morally wrong. Every day we basically choose what's going to be right and wrong. Just as an example, if there's, in our country, there's 30, 40,000 different laws that govern our lives every single day. We don't know any of them. Really, you know a few of them. I bet you know less than 1,000 of them. But yet you live every day of your life following a basic set of rules. Don't hurt other people. Don't hurt other people's things. And that's...
If it ain't yours, as a rule, don't steal it.
You didn't need God to tell you that. You just knew it. Don't hurt others. Don't hurt others' things. You can get through most of your life, even through the legal system, by following those precepts for the most part. So, God didn't give you your morals. They're all internal. And if you did something wrong, it was on you. If you did something right, it was on you.
Now, I may misquote this a bit, right? But the general gist was, if you... How did it go there? Teresa Harris quote, it was a good one. See if I can get it here brought up, maybe. It is about God allowing a rapist to rape a child. Right? Would you stop it? Would you stop a rapist from raping a child? Right? Yeah, because I sure as hell would, of course.
Yeah.
And that inherently makes us more moral than your God.
Yeah, right off the bat, doesn't it?
Right? Now, I'm not 100% on that one there, exact words of that, but it's the same idea. The fact that you're the God either sent the rapist to rape the child,
or didn't do anything to stop
it. Now, or he simply allowed the rapist to continue it. Okay, thank you. It was brought up here on the screen, so we're going to give you a read here. You either have a God who sends child rapists to rape children, and you have a God who simply watches it and says, when you're done, I'm going to punish you. If I could stop a person from raping a child, I would. That's the difference between me and your God. Well,
not only
unless you can look in the mirror and say you would allow it to happen and simply deal with the law and the punishment afterward, you yourself are more moral than what your God is.
That was actually part of his plan, that rapist came to rape that child. I mean, everything's God's plan.
Well, it depends on which particular group of, you want to follow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, honestly, well, it's like thousands of denominations of Christianity alone, right? So, I mean, like, they can't even get together and agree on what their one or group of books are saying.
It makes sense.
And what it
means. None of it really makes sense.
So anyway, where do you get your morals from? Same place you do, and it's not a God.
Right.
That's my statement on it. So, and it's a rather heated one. And no, it doesn't mean anybody who follows God is a rapist or supports it or a molester and stuff like that, right? Let's clear that up. But it's in your book. You choose not to follow certain aspects of it. We don't own slaves anymore. Christian, most for the bulk part anyway, Christians have moved past that. The whole idea of having to stone a woman and literally take her to her father's house on her wedding day, she's not a virgin, and throw rocks at her until she's dead. We kind of overlook those things now because, well, frankly, they send your ass to jail and to a psych ward.
Yeah.
And you deserve to be there, if not a worse fate. But it doesn't say on a wedding day if a man's a virgin, not a virgin. Should we take him and kill him too? It's just the women.
It's a man's world.
I wonder why. Bunch of fucking goat herder men wrote the book, maybe? Anyway, there we go. There's my challenge out to it. That's what I believe happened, pretty much. Anyway, okay, so next question. Do you think both Mother Teresa and Hitler are in the same place? Where's the justice, in other words?
I don't know much about Mother.
Well, I'll go in here. The theory behind the question, I guess, is where's the justice? For instance, Mother Teresa was such a great, wonderful person, and Hitler was such an evil stain on the human race. So, without a God, they'd both be in the same spot. Well, to answer your question, do you think they're both in the same place? Yes, I do. I think they are both in the exact same place as an atheist. Why? Because once you're dead, you cease to exist as you. It's done. So, wherever that place is, or whatever existence that is afterward, which is nothingness, yes, they're both there. But if I had to go with a religious side of it, the Christian side of it, my statement or my answer to that question would still have to be, yes, they're both still in the same place. Why? Mother Teresa, devout follower of the church.
Yeah, I don't know much about her other than she was a great person.
Which we can get into a debate because she really wasn't, and a lot of it was hogwash. But anyway, no, she really wasn't. The whole thing about pain and suffering for all her hospitals, denied basic meds to be able to ease the pain and suffering of those that were dying. There's no actual medical treatment for the most of them. It's literally the more pain you're in, the closer to God you're becoming. Accept it. And they're really just, a lot of them are house of death as opposed to great holy places to go and get medical treatment for those who can't actually get it anywhere else and stuff like that. It's really mass amounts of money taken from like drug lords and things like that and perfectly accepted. It's okay though if you're getting mass amounts of money through illegal and evil activities, as long as I'm using it for what I believe is good. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so Mother Teresa, good person within the church's eyes, does this, does that. Hitler, once again though, not a bad person in the church's eyes technically. And yes, this is going to strip a lot of people, because I go to church and he's a bad person in my eyes. That's because you're more moral than your church and your God is. Anyway, Hitler acted on God's will as he believed, which, extermination of the Jews and other ethnic groups and religious-based groups, because it wasn't just the Jews. I'm not downplaying in the least the atrocities brought against the Jewish people by the Nazi regime and the final cleansing and stuff like that, right? The final solution. But the final solution was also targeted against the gypsies, against the Czechs, against homosexuals, against the mentally infirm. It was an overall horrible existence. But the church has never excommunicated Hitler. He's never done enough bad in the church's eyes to say, no, you're just too fucked to be part of our gang. Our gang that wantonly supports by protecting...
He was Christian?
He was Catholic. He was Catholic. And he's never excommunicated from the Catholic Church. The Pope has never renounced Hitler from the Catholic Church. The belt buckle on the Nazis, right? God's work and stuff like that, it's all there. A lot of them believe they were doing God's... Now, like every other particular group, a powerhouse group, and even, I think, most people in the hierarchy of the churches themselves, they don't even believe the hogwash they're pushing. They just know it keeps control, and the more they push it, and the stewardly belief they have, they'll have control of it. So, by that question, do you think they're both in the same place? both as an atheist, yes, and if I was a believer, with an actual understanding, not just I want to believe this because it makes me feel warm and fuzzy, looking into it all, I still believe they're in the same place, because as long as the last little bit, Hitler asked for forgiveness from Jesus, and I believe in God as whole, and I believe I did the work for you as best I could.
Right, if he really did believe he was doing it right,
then he's in heaven too.
Yeah, technically, he would, wouldn't he?
And by that statement alone, who the fuck would any of us be to judge God's will to have him there?
Let's go back.
So if there is
that morals question,
there you go.
Hitler got his morals from God, apparently.
Well,
right?
We're all here by God's will.
Right.
So anyway, are they in the same place? Yes, they are. Okay, next question. Some of these here we printed them off here, right? Got paraphrased down here for you, so that. What caused you to become an atheist? To become an atheist, or to return to being an atheist?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The question really is, what caused you to become an atheist? There you go. Actually, yeah, that's another point that's been brought up here. We're going to go back here to the Hitler thing, right? Mother Teresa for that. Hitler and the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church there, they both have literal Bible morals. They both believe to the literal word, not to a society accepts foundational, this is okay within society, so I believe that as well stuff. They literally took the Bible, this is the literal word of it, and we're going to do it. And our society says, no, that's fucked up, you can't do that shit. That's just like out the left ballpark. You're not even playing the same fucking field as anymore. You're not even swinging the same bat and the same balls that we're playing with here in the field in the game. You're right out the lunch here with it. Doesn't matter though, because they are literally following the fundamentals of the Bible. So, if you have a problem with those guys, you've really got a problem with the Bible. Think on that for a few minutes as, where you want to go with this one here. But to the next question. What caused me to become an atheist? Nothing caused me to become an atheist.
I remember my turning point.
Oh, do you?
Because I went to a variety of different churches when I was growing up, and I was kind of buying into it. But as I kept learning things, there was more inconsistencies and stuff. But the one thing that really did it for me, the one thing that really bugged and irked me the most and threw it all off kilter, was that the whole story of God and Jesus, that He loves you unconditionally, greatest love in the world.
As long as.
But if you don't love Him back, you are going to burn in eternity. Forever. Burn forever. Like, I can understand a slap on the wrist. I can understand kicking your kids out of the house. But to make them burn for eternity.
The ultimate level of torture.
Come on, man. You love me that much?
Well, my favorite statement here is unconditional love as long as...
That ruined it for me.
You're done.
That makes no sense at all. Like...
Unconditional as long as.
Yeah.
They just don't fucking work in the same sentence here, like...
And then it all fell apart for me. It was all stupid after that. It's like, this is retarded.
Become an atheist. I believe you're all born an atheist.
Yeah,
we're taught to believe in a God of some sort.
Yeah.
We're influenced definitely greatly from it.
Indoctrinated.
Brainwashed, whatever. But what caused me to become an atheist? No, I did not see some catastrophic event where billions and millions of people died, or babies are being ripped limb from limb, and how could I let a God do this? Or I didn't win the lottery, or mommy didn't love me too much, or none of this stuff happened to me. I simply asked questions that couldn't be answered. Then I started asking the same questions when I got past the couldn't be answered, of the people who could answer it, who wouldn't answer it. And then I started looking at it myself. Now, have you actually read the Bible? That usually goes with what caused you to become an atheist. Have you read the Bible? Have you really truly asked? You know what? I asked God. I went to a lot of religions. I checked to see. And I got the same static feedback of nothing and bullshit from all of it. But what made me become an atheist? I read the Bible. And I realized that this just can't be fucking real. Like, if you have actually read the whole Bible with the intention of reading it and understanding it, not just reading it to find the few fuzzy pieces that make you warm and happy inside, and to fuck with the rest of it, you can't believe in a God from reading the Bible any more than you could really believe that Spider-Man is real from reading the comics. They both got tidbits of truth into it that are real. I mean, New York City's there, the towers were there, they come down, There are spiders.
There are spiders.
I mean, Spider-Man, way to fucking go. Yes, we got proof that you're real. This is wonderful. Really, if you go with this here, come on now. You're really grasping for it. There's just too much shit that happened in the Bible, or it says in the Bible, or claims to be in the Bible, that contradicts itself, it rolls back onto itself, and it's just not there. The only way you could really believe it is if you've already convinced yourself that it's real before you read it. Yeah. And that just doesn't work for me. So
you just conveniently forget the parts that don't fit.
So no, it wasn't because a friend of mine died. It wasn't because my, a grandfather died. It wasn't because I read up on World War II or the, Rwanda genocide and stuff like that, right?
Logic reared its ugly head.
None of this have happened. It's not because of the earthquakes and, all of a sudden, or some people, with gay marriage or same-sex marriage. And you know what? Fuck off with this. I didn't become an atheist because something major happened. I became an atheist because I looked into it and I read it, I studied it with an open mind, and realized it's bullshit. And I have yet to find anybody that can explain things that gets past the level of bullshit. So that's why I'm an atheist. I didn't become one. I simply retained being one. It's like I like to say. That's just the way it is.
Angry.
Let's face it. If you need convincing that I became an atheist somehow, you really need to sit down and understand that your holy book believes in talking fucking snakes. Talking snakes. It's great on the movie The Jungle Book. It's a great kid's story. We don't tell the kids it's fucking real. Baloo the bear does not dance around the jungle singing, because the snake does not talk and is real, okay? Your book is based on the fact that talking snake convinced. Stop right there. Whatever you're on, you may have too many of it going through your system. Talk to your doctor, slack it off some. That's just it. Okay. If humans are just another kind of animal, how is killing people different from killing any other creature? Well, unless you're the Highlander in one of the Highlander series, and there can be only one, no particular race wants to exterminate every other member of its species completely for no other purpose other than exterminating it. You kind of need it. As like any other animals, there's a need to reproduce. There's a need to procreate and continue on. Now, some people are going to automatically go into the argument about same-sex relationships right there. If it's only about procreation, well, it's not only about procreation. Once again, we talked about this earlier. We're a very social species. Many animals are like that. The race continues because of the procreation side of it, stuff like that. But as a rule, we all excel and evolve. There's that wonderful word that no one likes to deal with, evolution.
If we're all just another kind of animal, then all we have to go by is the example of existing animals. And most animals really don't kill unless they're going to eat something. And most animals don't kill their own kind to eat. So based on that, we should only kill things that we're going to eat, which we generally do, except for the trophy hunters and so on and so forth. And we don't eat our own kind, so we don't kill our own kind.
Well, there are a few exceptions to that, but there's always extremes.
Well, there's always going to be exceptions.
Well,
but, really, we are just another animal. But like other animals, we don't really kill and eat our own kind, and we only kill other animals for food. So we are just another animal.
There's also the fighting over territory or mating rituals, etc., but they do that as well, right? So it's all right back down to
evolution, really.
Yeah, we're all just...
Right.
Now, I'm going to throw this one out here because, though it's not the direct question of the ones we printed off here that we got to ask and stuff like that, right? It goes along with it. Do you really think you're just, evolved from monkeys? And if you are, why are there still monkeys? Well, Christians are just evolved from the Jewish race, so why are there still Jews? Right? It's all the same thing. But anyway, that being so, I know we're not evolved from monkeys. Us and the monkeys are evolved from a common ancestor, millions plus billions of years ago, etc. Whatever. So, we didn't just come. So if you have to ask that, you really don't understand evolution.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, you ever really want to sound like a dork? And I mean like a really uneducated, I don't understand what's going on, but I want to sound good? Use the term theory of evolution is just a theory. A theory is just an idea of. Well, you know what? The theory of gravity is just a theory. Why don't you walk out of a building and test it for us? In science, a theory is the highest level of understanding and tested that you can have.
In reality, we actually, just to be nice, we actually just drop off theory of when we say God. We always just assume you meant theory of God when you say God. I assume.
Hypothesis of God.
Right, I always assume when you say God to me, you meant theory of God.
Yeah. Theory as in a civilian use, not the scientific use,
right.
Because there's been no proof thereof.
Correct.
So, okay. So that just does it. So, how is killing other people different? Because we have the moral code that takes us above and beyond the basic animal instinct levels. And in actuality, other animals, many of them have evolved to the point that they're not killing off.
Yeah.
Like, dolphins don't spend a whole lot of time killing each other off, and like elephants don't spend a whole lot of time killing. So a fight, but they try not to do it to the death usually, as opposed to, etc., etc. That's just the way it is. You know, what's different than killing other animals? A lot, once again. We've evolved higher than the other animals in many ways, so therefore that level of evolution takes us there. And, one of the statistics just got popped up here, and it says, let's see here, chimpanzees have similar murder rates to humans. I want to see if those guys put somebody in a black robe and funny wolf and fucking wigs to punish people as the ultimate judge, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently, same idea, though. Like, it's very similar, because there are so many, due to a social interaction level, you know, we're very closely related to them. I suppose it'd be very similar with the murder rates or whatever else. I don't know exactly that one. Look it up, let me know. And you know what, if you disagree with stuff like this here, feel free to send a comment up there. Like I said, the email will be up there on the site and everything, or on the screen here soon. And you'll send us your comments, and, well, frankly, I can get very specifically. I'll tag a name, too, so I can not just give the generic ones I'm using now. I'll actually bring it up, and we'll have it out here a bit. If we don't do it right on the site, you can also let us know if you'd rather have it up on the show, and we'll see. Why do you spend so much time discussing something you don't believe in? Best way I've heard it yet was, I believe atheists, and you know what, I'm not going to speak for all atheists, I'm going to speak for me. I spend so much time discussing it because I think it's a blight on our society and our race. And I think something we have to move past. And I'm not going to convince a single hardcore believer because they have a deep-seated need to continue to believe. And it would be very hard to convince someone that spent their whole life believing something, that it was a lie, it's wrong, and how stupid do you feel now having believed in this here. You're not. You were misled, you were mistaught, you were misguided. And then from there, but some people find that very hard. So why do I spend so much time discussing something I don't believe in? Probably the same reason doctors spend so much time talking about cancer. It's a horrible, evil thing, and it needs to be dealt with, and that's why. And I think religion is pretty much the same thing. I think our society, I think our race, I think the world would be much better off without these religions. By far, they've done more harm than good.
Why do we use education at all? If not to educate. That's why we talk about it. It's education.
I find it difficult to believe that when we deal with things like Islam and Christian studies in school, it's considered religious studies. But when we talk about Odin, Zeus, or Loki, it's mythology.
Yeah, right.
There's the same amount of proof of both. It's all mythology. It's just whether we can get the rest of society up to snuff on that there. So why we talk about it? Education, and try to bring us past the need to believe in things that don't exist just to make us feel good about ourselves or about others or most of the time, our inadequate actions in life. That's why. You believe in the Big Bang Theory. I agree that it's the most likely event that has ever happened, justifiable explanation to what's happened. So yes, I could say you could believe in it. What caused it? We covered that a little bit earlier. I don't know. You'd have to ask people who deal with the quantum physics and study, and et cetera, and all the scientists that deal with this stuff. I don't know. I didn't spend my lifetime studying this stuff. I didn't go to school for it. I didn't do the research onto it. I don't get the big telescope. I don't have, I just don't know. I don't do that. That's not my field of study and understanding. What I've read up onto it, I believe to be more true than, oh, you're all here. Shit, I gotta make something else. Let's just go ahead and take your rib, because I can use dirt to make you, but I can't make a female version of you unless I take rib from you, because, well, for whatever reason I've chosen that's the way it's going to be since I'm the ultimate being of all existence of all time.
It's my prerogative.
And while we're at this here, since I gotta take your rib to make you, I don't need to take anything other than the fact that I want to will it into existence. The billions of solar systems with multiple, many more planets, stars, and asteroids within said solar systems. But we're only going to worry about making everything happen on one water and green planet in one of those solar systems. And not only that, we're going to restrict that planet, which is like, 80% or 70% water. I'm going to make my creation not be able to breathe the water, then I'm going to make this. Anyway. And I'm going to restrict all that to, and my whole presence and my whole influence within it and interference in said race to one little geographical area in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Of said blue water planet, in said solar system, of said billions of systems, of said umpteen planets in each of those systems of existence that we do know exist now. But it's okay because the goat herders that made up the book back then wouldn't have known all that was there. They could only go with their limited amount of knowledge. So, do I believe in it? Yes. What caused it? I don't know. One second here. Where was it? What caused it? If you don't know, how do you know it wasn't God? Well, just reference here, if I don't know what caused the Big Bang, which I've openly admitted I don't, how do we know it wasn't God? Define your God. Define all the aspects of it. And how do you also know it wasn't a flying purple fairy dragon with pink unicorn horns coming out of its ass?
That would still make it a god, even if it was a flying pink unicorn. That would
Right.
still make it a god. It doesn't matter at that point. It's either Big Bang or nothing. Right.
Big Bang was the most practical theory at the time, or thought thereof, that it was existence. And we have more proof of that than we do of any god and or religious belief.
Yeah, all you get is a book.
What you understand about religion, would alien contact mess up Christianity?
I don't know. Did they say that we're the only?
Yes.
Really?
God created man.
I feel bad for those guys.
And we
can find aliens.
He created us in the image of him. Which, by the way, there's a lot of him out there because there's an awful lot of image of us.
But there's no others? Like, even in the Christian Bible, the book, there's no other human creation?
Well, some people try to make the argument, he created Adam and Eve, then there was Cain and Abel, and then Cain built, Abel.
And somebody come out of the woodworks.
And then someone come out of the woodworks, and Cain got a wife, and, well, it doesn't say that God created them and stopped. He still created more, and some have with the books there that there was other tribes created, and he went to one of the other tribes and got the wife, and
They
etc.
worked that part.
Yes, they worked that into a later book later on. But they don't really deal with all that stuff because, there are hundreds of books of the Bible, but they only take the parts they want out of the ones they want, put it into the one they want to share with you.
There's a book called Titus, I think.
But yeah, that floats your boat.
I think there is.
You want to read it, don't you?
No.
No?
I'm still not interested.
There you go. So, would alien contact throw them out of whack? I think they'd find a way to say, well, no, God made that afterward.
Find a way, yeah.
Well, that's what the apologetics do. You just keep going, find a way to keep the momentum going here because we have some kind of control. So, but in the end, if there's any logical train of thought here, it would kind of blow the shit right out of it.
Yeah.
Mind you, the fact that the sun revolves around the world, and we've proven that we revolve around the sun, didn't faze them a whole lot. Right? The fact that there are other planets out there, not just ours, didn't really faze them a whole lot. The fact that their God can be defeated by iron chariots. We all drive iron cars now. Fucking right. But anyway, that being said, actually most of them are plastic now. That's kind of shitty. We're kind of downplaying here. But the point is, a God can be held at bay or defeated by iron chariots. We'll just circumvent that and keep going because our God's the all-powerful. Nothing can stop it. Contradiction. The whole routine. They're going to keep finding ways to circumvent or go around or... It's like evolution, right? They go with evolution, the theory of evolution. It's only evolution. Well, look, how many specimens do we have in the evolutionary train now? Look, this huge gap you got. Jesus, you got a big gap here. Found one in the middle. Does it fix the gap? No. Look at this. Now you have two gaps you have to fill.
Yeah.
It's called the God of the Gaps. It's a fallacy. It's out there. It's a popular thing. Unless you get... And these people, like with evolution too, they really get it. Unless you can show me proof of a cat turning into a dog, or a cat and a dog, or two cats having a puppy as a offspring, I'm not going to believe in evolution. Well, that's good because that's not evolution. That's fucked up. Okay, we're talking, if you see that shit happening, call National Geographic, call some of the serious foundations. Whatever you do, don't call the government because your ass is going to be forfeit, you're going to disappear. Cease to exist.
This isn't X-Men.
Right, that being said, learn the stuff, learn the evolution. I don't know if there wasn't a god, or how do you know it wasn't a god, like I said? How do you know it wasn't a flying purple fairy dragon? How do you know it wasn't elves? How do you know it wasn't Elvis that came down and checked on us and then fucked off again like Men in Black? You just don't know, right? But you just doesn't mean you can automatically insert, oh, must be God then. Okay, if it's God, prove it was. Other than, I have the Bible, which already has so many things wrong with it. It's a joke to listen to anyway. Alrighty, what would it take for proof to get you to believe in God? Right?
It would take less to convince me there is God than it would to take you to believe there isn't. That's for sure. All I need is for him to show up. I can throw all the logic at you. I can try. It's not going to convince you nothing. All he has to do is show up for me. Doesn't take much at all. For him, it should be pretty easy.
Well, I've actively said I'm an atheist. I'm even more hardcore anti-theist. I've been accused of this one directly. You wouldn't believe in God. If he showed right up, you'd ask for a DNA test. Well, you know what?
Even then, I guess.
If Jesus was to walk in front of me and say, hi, I'm Jesus, I want a DNA test, yes. Because they've already had a few people doing this here. It wasn't that long ago they had one down in Australia doing it, and he had a pretty good little fucking cult following going, and even had the look, the hair, pulled it off well based on the pictures. Which, by the way, just so you know, I actually got to throw this tidbit information out there. You can look it all up, and this will stir up some of them. The picture that we always see of Jesus, the middle-aged white man, long hair, who knows? That one there was so awesome. I love the story of that. Look into it. The painter actually based the picture of Jesus off it, that he painted all up and did all up here, off his gay lover's look. There you go, enjoy that one. Check that shit out. I loved it when I read that one. I was actually so excited about that, I didn't even look it up for the first two. I just sat and smiled and laughed about it, but then I had to go look it up more because, well, I'd hate to be a total ass on it. But everything I've been able to find so far, yeah, he based it off of that. So your rendition of Jesus that you always see in the big pictures hanging up in the churches, hanging up in the Holy Book, it's based off a gay guy. Wonderful. Anyway, so what would it take to prove? Come down and prove it. And you know what? At that point in time, I would have to actively admit to the world, I am no longer an atheist. God is real. I'm still an anti-theist, and you're a dirty fucker, but God is real.
It's true. I'd have some questions for him after he showed up.
Well, the statement I gave was, if you die and there's a God, well, I promise to give a full account, or allow him to give a full accounting for himself before I pass judgment on him, but he's still an asshole.
Yeah.
That being said, what would it take for proof? Come down and prove it. If your God is all-powerful and omnipotent and all everything, he knows exactly what it would take to prove to me, and he's failing. Sucks to be him. But it would take like all the other gods to prove it. To actually exist would be a good start. Alrighty. Is there any value in faith? Right?
There'll be some there somewhere.
Yes, there's value in faith. I have faith in humanity. I have faith that we are going to be better off in years to come than we are now. I have faith that atheists, at least in many parts of the world now, are no longer prosecuted and killed. Unfortunately, in too many places, they are killed, tortured, maimed, destroyed because of their blasphemous ways against gods that can't be proven to exist. But anyway, it has advanced. I think as a race, we've advanced medically, socially, technology-wise.
Faith in what? You can't just say faith in God. Faith in God what?
Is there any faith? Is there any value in a faith in a God? No more value than there's in faith in flying purple fairy dragons. There's just, no, there's not.
It depends on what your faith is focused on. You can't just say, you have faith in God. Do I have faith in God what? That God is going to save me, going to do whatever. Just is there faith in God? Like, that's just, do you believe in God or not?
Actually, the statement is very clear. It says, is there any value in faith? So it's assumed that statement is going to be faith in a God. So that, no, I don't think there's any faith in a God or in the belief of the religions that are of any value. Mainly because I don't think there's anything that you can have faith in with that brings goodness to the world that you couldn't also have without it. Okay, is there a value in having faith that you might see your loved ones in the afterlife?
Actually, my understanding of
There's
the afterlife
comfort.
is that you don't remember anything of your previous earth life. So,
Not if you go to God.
go to God means
Stand there and stare at the greatness and wonderfulness of God, and look down at the tormented people who didn't believe and laugh at them because you are feeling overjoyed now for the greatness of God.
I always found that one funny when I found out that when you go to heaven, you have no recollection of your past life, which means that when everybody says...
You cease to exist anyway.
When they say that X is looking down on me, it's like, no, I'm sorry, they're really fucking not. Even if they're in heaven, they're not looking down on you. They don't know who the fuck you are. They have no recollection of this life.
The greatness of God has now influenced them to the point that all they see is God. And it's the ultimate joy to them, so you just cease to exist to them anyway. So in actuality, when I say you're dead and you cease to exist, that's pretty much how it is anyway, because you yourself, like Brian or myself, or we cease to exist.
Experiences, yeah, they're gone.
Like, I love my mom and dad, like you wouldn't believe. But when they're dead, they're gone. That they're going to be gone. So is there any faith and believing you'll see your loved ones in the afterlife? There's comfort in it for some people.
In the belief.
In the belief of it. Or the faith of it, because belief and faith is the same idea, to have, to want or to believe in something without proof. That's why it's called faith, not evidence. Anyway, there's comfort in it.
There's your answer then.
But there's comfort in a lot of things.
There it is, though. That was your faith. It was the comfort.
Right, but there's also, some people find comfort in a bottle of liquor every night or 10. Some people find comfort in the bottom of a Coke bag. Some people find comfort in the razor blade slicing the pain they feel to know that they still exist. Is there any goodness in those? Other than their own personal comfort and their own self-destruction. It depends on
then you just answered your
how
question
you define
again.
it.
You just answered your question in their own basic, whatever you just said there.
So is there any value in it to me? No.
No. There would be the answer. There's no value in it to you.
Not to me.
I'm not saying there's any value in it to me either. I'm just saying that there is value in faith. There is a plus to somebody. So to that person, there is value in faith. And if that faith gets them somewhere.
But there's also that same thing in addiction to heroin or cocaine. And we know it's usually detrimental to said people to be addicted to heroin and cocaine.
I like chocolate milk. You like vanilla. But we both, at the end of the day, got the minerals and the nutrients we required. So what our specific comforts were doesn't really matter as long as the outcome's the same at the end of the day. We feel...
I don't believe the faith...
Comfort.
Well, yeah, but I don't believe that the comfort
there could have been
value
something else.
of faith belief offsets the bad it causes.
I guess we didn't get into that part.
So, to me, is there a value to faith? Unless you believe in faith in humanity that we're going to move forward, me personally, is there value in faith? I have to actually come out and say yes, there are, because there are comforts and things you can derive from it.
There would be value in faith.
Something else will fill the void if it wasn't a God.
It motivates you to do something positive in the world. That would be the answer. There's value in faith that motivates you to do positive things.
At the expense of what, though? I got to go with this one. Example being,
For example, you can say that the church as a whole does bad things, but me as a person with faith, I can do all kinds of good things.
But are you doing them because of the church only, or could you do it without the church?
I couldn't do it without the church. There would be no God without the church.
Right, but could you do all the good things that you do without a church, without a God?
Yeah.
Could you? Yes.
Probably, yeah.
There you go.
But still, it was my belief in this faith that caused me to do those good things. That was the thing I chose to be my...
But it can be done without a God and without a church and without a faith.
You like chocolate and I like vanilla. There's other things you can do to get this place.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is, you don't need chocolate milk
and you don't
to
need
get your
vanilla.
calcium. Absolutely.
Right, that's what I'm
but
saying.
you don't need it. There are other alternatives without it.
Sure.
So is there a need for chocolate? No. It's a preferred but it's not a need. So what I'm saying is there a need for it? And does the good outweigh the bad? Example being, I'm going to use this one, right? And no, once again, I do not support it in any shape or form. I do not deny the Holocaust in any way, or support it, or downplay it. But for the sense of argument only, metal technology, due to the war, because of the necessity of war, both of the Allies and the acts of the Nazis, advanced vastly faster than it has in hundreds of years beforehand. That's a very good thing. Does it offset the evil of it? No. Therefore, the good things you get from doing things within religion does it offset the evil of it? No.
You are.
And that's only one example.
You are putting the responsibility for the whole religion's body on each individual person, and I don't agree. I say one person can live his life and value faith and benefit from it, still doing everything good from the faith, but still be set apart from the organization. Yeah, the organization is horrible, but on an individual basis, the value of the faith can be great and have no downsides. As a personal believer, you could choose that following all of God's scriptures and being good to your fellow man is great, and as long as you follow those and don't hurt other people, well, then your faith was actually had real good value.
But do you have true faith in the Bible or the religion at that point in time? If you're only doing the good side of it, not doing the bad parts, like the Westboro Baptist, the Nazis and Hitler and stuff did.
The question was, is there value in faith? And in this scenario, the answer is yes.
As long as you pick and choose the good parts, not the bad.
Who cares? No.
Well, no.
Because we're all getting our morals from an internal source anyway. So.
Right. But what I'm saying is it faith then in the Bible and a God that is giving it to you? Or is it the warm, fuzzy parts that you like, in which case you don't need the Bible and God, you just need the parts that you like and just go with that?
Right. I never said you needed those things. I'm just saying that is what you focused on. That was your chocolate. That was the flavor you chose to live your life with in a good way. You might have chosen humanitarianism as yours for vanilla. So we both ended up in the same place, being good to our fellow man.
So in other words, it's a placebo.
Both of us are.
Yes.
Both placebo.
But
everything is a placebo. That's what faith is.
Right, so it's a placebo. Not really needed. It's just brings you comfort while waiting for the effect to happen that is going to happen anyway. Then is there a value in it? No.
Well, then there's the value in no faith then, in anything. There's either faith
Correction.
as a whole.
Is there value in religious faith? Very little. At best I'll give you is very little, because everything that can happen because of religious can happen without it. So, like, I know one person, he turned to God, and therefore was able to kick his addiction to the bottle. I think he kicked his addiction to the bottle because he had the strength to do it, and he downplays his own importance in it. But if that's what made you happy, and that's what made you kick the bottle, so be it.
There's a really good example. There was your value in faith. His faith, quote unquote, got him off the bottle.
And that's why I don't deny people their
agree
right.
It was him that did it, but it was his faith that motivated him to do it.
In which case, and that's why I say, we don't have to get rid of all religion. We have to make all religion personal only. Stop. At no point in time should it come in the public. You want to have a personal faith with your God at home? Go right ahead. Stop it there.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, how much can you turn a blind eye to that too? Because like I said, what's the difference between the person who sells his daughter into slavery and the person who turns a blind eye to someone who slaps him, right? Or turns the other cheek kind of deal. They're both in the same damn holy book. So if you accept one as just and right, you have to accept the other one as just and right. Throwing rocks at a woman who got raped and couldn't stop the attackers from raping her and taking her virginity. Therefore, when she goes and finally falls in love with a man who goes to bed, it is justified by the book to drag her from that wedding bed to her father's house, throw her on the front lawn, and have the town gather and throw fucking stones and rocks at her in a gory, bloody, horrible fucking way to kill someone because she could not defend herself physically against multiple attackers of rape.
Sounds like a movie out of Hollywood.
But the point is, that's faith. And if you're only choosing the warm fuzzy parts versus the other side, you don't have faith in the fucking book. You don't have faith in a God. You have faith in the moral rightness. And you just don't understand on a way to achieve that without blaming it on something which is choosing the few parts of the book you like. So do I think, is there value in faith? Sure. I'll give you some of that at the minor level.
I didn't ask for a lot.
Well, I'll give it to you at the minor level. I believe there's a hell of a lot more value in understanding. You don't need those crutches as a race. No one does. And those crutch has caused more damage than they've ever done good.
Yeah.
It's like, for lack of a better word, to me, the church, it's nothing more than, I'm going to cut you so that I can then turn offer to sell you a Band-Aid. Great, you sold me the Band-Aid, you stopped me from bleeding to death, but I should never ever forget the fact that you're the one that fucking put me in there to begin with. So, there's that. So that's some of the questions we've been asked, some of them that were sent to us and stuff like that, or we've received. and or had over time, stuff like that, or directly got. If you yourself have any extra, feel free to write us. All right? We'll have the email up on the screen. Yep.
I hope I'm pointing at it.
We'll also have the you have the ability to respond back to our questions and comments, or give us questions and comments on any of the shows that we've done for Common Man's Corner. Please subscribe to it, share it around, send the links to your friends, get everyone liking it and want comments, drag people into discussions. You know what? If you think for some reason one of us is batshit crazy, feel free. Write us. Tell us why. Leave the comments. Stir up the conversation.
Hey, maybe if you want to be on the show, we'll think about that too.
Don't get me wrong. I may also respond back that you're batshit crazy and tell you the reason why I think you are. Accept that. In fact, it's a common way of doing things in life. It's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, because it may come back to you. If you have certain points you want brought up, or on said topics, such as religion, finance, politics, the aliens of the fucking outer space, which may come up later in life, whatever, feel free. Throw the comment out there, throw the question out there, throw ideas out there, something you'd like to see, something you'd like to talk about, whatever. Have fun with it. Pass it around. Until then, we've covered the questions on religion. I personally think religion is like a cancer on our society. All religions. They're not good.
Definitely divisive. They don't bring people together like they're supposed to.
I think there's nothing that happens because of religion that couldn't happen without it. That's good. There are plenty that happen that are bad that could only happen with a belief in a god or a religion. So, that being said, that's this week's version of Common Man's Corner, and Wayne and Ryan saying, have a good one. Have a happy one. Take it easy, guys. See you next time.